Good morning, everyone. This is Ryan Hayes with Engage121 for today's Engage121 product update webinar. I'm sure you all missed me last week, but I am back and again joined by Jenny McDonald, who will be reviewing the GoToWebinar questions box for any questions that you have over the course of this webinar. We do recommend that you use that questions box in the GoToWebinar software, as the phone lines will be closed for the duration of this webinar. Today we have some very exciting news to talk about that will be launching early next week, and that is updates to our customer care module. There's a lot of different components to customer care, and we'll recap some of the things that are already in there today, but focus on primarily the new features that will be added. Today we'll be demoing off of a beta server to give you a preview of what will be added to your accounts beginning early next week. So we're going to start off with taking a look at the customer care fanlet, just to recap the functionality that's there real quickly. Then walk through assigning a task and the new features that are included with that. We've now added cases from emails and connections between social media cases and email cases, as well as new fields and options for filtering and what you see and do with cases in Engage121. So we'll walk through all of those, and we're just going to go ahead and we'll start with that customer care fanlet. So as you're likely aware, the customer care fanlet looks more or less like what you see here on the page. It is a page object, which means that it can be used in conjunction with other page objects. So you see right here there's an image that's part of the customer care page object, and then has the questions and suggestions and that the core functionality below. But you can also post this in conjunction with other page objects like the video carousel or the poll or any of those other page objects that you might be using. So you can have those either appear above or below the customer care object. So in this case, we have an image, a little image above it, just denoting that this is a sample fanlet. Now, when that customer care fanlet is actually published, you have the option of adding up to 3 different tabs for questions, suggestions, comments, whatever you'd like to name those tabs. If you need to do them in Spanish or a different language, what have you, that's all supported. You put in the tab names however you'd like them to be. Now, when someone enters a question up here, that question will be added down to the question list below. And if they're asking a question that's similar to one that's already been asked, they'll also get another tab here saying recommended, in which case we'll link it to questions that are similar to the one that they've just posted. So once they submit that, it will appear down below, just like the ones you see here. We're going to use the photo and name from Facebook for that Facebook user information. And then we have the Facebook like button. So anyone can come in and like a question or comment, and we can look at how many of those are being liked, which ones are resonating most with the people who are visiting that page. And then in addition, we can comment on one of those questions or suggestions. Now, all of this that happens here on the fanlet will also feed into Engage. So if we go over to Listen, you'll see that there's a dedicated filter for customer care at the top of the page, and you can choose which customer care modules you're actually including. So if you have different ones on different Facebook pages, you can choose to have them all funnel into the same filter. Or if you don't, you can just pick and choose the ones that you want to funnel into that filter. Now, these also are set up in the way that you can reuse the same module across multiple pages. So when you're actually creating this, you have you can either name a new one, create a new one, or you can pick for one that you already have, in which case all of that that data comes into the same database. And if you have it posted on multiple pages, those people will see the same entries, the same questions across those multiple pages. So depending upon how your organization is set up, this gives you a way to either be as diverse across different pages as you want to, or share as much data across the different pages as you'd like to. But so I just wanted to give a quick recap of that, because we think that's a very valuable part of our customer care module as a whole. Now, moving on to assigning cases, we've had, since we launched customer care some months ago, we've had feedback from our clients who are using it on how they would, how they'd like to, how they could see it working better for them. And so we've been working to make those additions, to make the workflow work in the manner that our clients would like it to. So starting with assigning a case, there's a couple of new things that you'll note. So I'm going to click on cases here. If there's already a case open for this contact somewhere else on our account, someone else on my account already has that open, I'll get a notice saying that there's already a pending open case for that contact, but I can still continue to create a new one. So as I'm creating a case, just go ahead and put in some dummy stuff here. When that functionality of creating a case stays the same, you still click on the same buttons, you still put in the same information, you still reply in the same way, pick the handle you want to reply through, all of those different things. But now, when I create a case and save it, this one's assigned to manager, which is the account that I'm logged in as right now. When I go back and look at that filter again, you'll see that this is the one that I created a case on. You'll see that there's a notation that there is a case assigned to someone for this post. There's an open case assigned to manager for that. We've also automatically marked that post as being read. So these were for specific feature requests related to how our clients wanted to work with the cases functionality. So we're automatically targeting we're automatically noting those as being assigned and being dealt with. And then if we look at the one at the top here, we'll see this one has a case that's open, but there's also been responses on it. So you can see that and in the case that we actually had avatars set up, you'd see the avatar for the person instead of the default avatar here. But I see that there's a case assigned, and then the manager here has made some responses to it. So if I click on that, I can see the replies that were made to that post. Now, additionally, we had a request that when a task or a case is assigned to you, to treat it along the same lines of a task and put it into Planner. So we've made that addition as well. So now if we come down and take a look, you can see that Ryan's demo case that I just created is in my Planner, is assigned to me, and that this shows whether or not it's been viewed or not, so I can see who's how responsive they're being to the cases that are assigned to them. And if I click on that case in Planner, I have a link back to view the case in the customer care module. So when I click on View Case, it's going to open that up and load that case automatically, so I'm able to respond to it, react to that case directly from Planner. In addition, if I have the system set up to deliver email alerts to me, I'll also have a link in the email alert that would do the same thing, take me back into Engage and allow me to use that case's functionality right from the application. Now, one of the other great new things that we've added here is the ability to connect an email account to Engage and have cases created automatically based off of any incoming emails to that account. So we do that through an IMAP setting. So if I change my filter back here, we do that through an IMAP setting. If you're familiar with how email accounts work, it's a standard system for retrieving email from an account. So we're able to both retrieve email into the system and also send email out of the system. So when an email actually comes into the system, we'll automatically create a new case off of it. I'm going to change my filter really quick here. I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. I apologize. So we'll set this back and open up all of our cases. There we go. So now if I look through here and find a case from an email, scroll down to the bottom. So this case came in from an email. And you'll see that in the history of that case, I have the original email that was sent in. I can preview how that looks and look at the case came from R. Hayes, and this is the subject of the case and the content of the email. It also has attachments, so I can view those attachments. I can download the attachments that were sent in, whatever was included with that. But this was automatically logged into the Engage121 cases system. And it was automatically assigned to the default person for those cases, in this case being this manager login that I'm logged into. Now, after that case came in, I engaged and I responded to the case. And you'll see in history, you'll see my response going out to that email address. Again, we can preview that and see what that looked like. I can include attachments along with it if I'd like to, all of that functionality. Then as that user or as that customer, I replied back to it, and again, we automatically logged that into the customer care system. So we're able to track that conversation back and forth, include attachments, all those sorts of things, and continue to respond and have it automatically logged in the cases system. Additionally, if you'd like to work with an email, we have a small box here for doing emails, but if you need a little bit more functionality, we have a large size version of the email editor where you have things like adjusting the text format, including attachments, adding CCs, all of that sort of thing. So all of that is now included, both for automatically creating emails and responding to emails, but also if I have a case that came in just through a regular social media interaction, and let's say I have a question about that case that I need to get from one of my colleagues before I actually respond to the person on social media, or before I give them the final answer, whatever the case may be. I can click on that email button and take the case that I'm working with and send an email to one of my colleagues about that case. And as part of that, when they respond back to the case, so I can send this off to one of my colleagues at Engage, for example, and I can send them a question about the case. And when they respond to that, that case will automatically, or that response from my colleague will automatically be logged with the case in Engage, in the CRM system. So I have the history of not only our external communication with the client directly, but also our internal communications through, whether through email or Connect121, however we're managing that communication, is being connected to the case. So we have that history, we're logging that, and we're able to interact with colleagues who are not part of our, directly part of our social media efforts. So just in the history, I'll see all of that. Again, I can still add notes to go along with anything that maybe phone conversations or things that happen outside of this that I need to make sure that I store that along with the case. Now, additionally, you'll notice a lot of new things here in the cases window, and we've gone over the email parts of that, but we've also added here the ability to add both custom statuses. So if we look here, you'll see our default statuses like not started, in process, and closed, and then we can also create a custom status. So if it's, maybe you've got something like question sent to expert or something along those lines, a status that the case isn't closed yet, but we need to have a custom status of that more clearly reflects where it stands in the process. So we can create custom statuses for it on an account level. Additionally, we can create custom fields. So in addition to those default fields that will meet the needs for a lot of clients, you may have custom fields that you need, things related to specific numbers or specific data that ties to another system that you use or another database that you have. So we're able to use those custom fields. You can put in as many as you like. However many additional fields you need are available there, and you can just page back and forth between the standard case details and your custom fields to fill all of that in and save it with your cases as you're working through the system. We've also added a number of new filter options. So if we click on the little gear icon here to filter, you saw it briefly earlier as I was resetting my filter, but I can create, we always had things like all cases, my cases, open, close, so on, tags, but we've added some more things like companies and origins and that sort of thing. Additionally, one of the big things here is we've added the ability to save a filter. So if I put in a name for that filter, we'll automatically save it in the system, as you see in the top here, where we can select the filter that we want to take a look at, how we want our case list to be filtered. And however we set that will be saved. That filter will continue to apply until we change it to something else. So if you're always looking at your cases in the same way, you always want to see my open cases, for example, set up that filter, save that filter, and you'll be able to easily access it and have it saved as you come back to the application. So those things have been added in. Additionally, you may have noticed that we can now sort by the different headers of the case list. So if I want to sort on subject or case number or account name, all that sort of thing, those are all sortable. And then the other thing that we've added here, if I take a look at if I expand my list here, I'll take a look at a case here that has some history connected to it. So this little icon here for history will show any of those additional things that have happened with that case since it was opened. So we'll have the history that the case was created. Now, if I assign it to someone else, it will have additional information along with it. If I change the status of it, if I close it, all of those sorts of things will be stored in that history window. So I'm able to come back and look at how that case progressed over its lifespan in that CRM system, in that case management system. Now, just to briefly recap, the response time chart here is reflecting the amount of time that passed from the time the post was created on Twitter or Facebook or what have you, and the time a case was created about it. And then the other tab here, the case resolution, reflects the actual outcome of the cases. So when we go to close a case, when we switch the status to close, we'll see a pop-up here when we could pick the case outcome. That is required in order to actually save and close a case. So we do have to pick whether it was a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The closing note is optional. You can choose whether or not you want to fill in and put in a note explaining the final details on it before you close it. But that outcome is required, so when you do save and close a case and set the outcome of it, that's what populates this case resolution chart here. So the response time is the average time across all of your cases that are being opened, and the case resolution is the percentage out of the cases that are being closed that were positive versus neutral and versus negative. Now, since we did add those custom fields in and the custom statuses, the one thing I will show you here is that those are all managed under Account. So if we go to Account and Profile, you'll see there's a new section here for Customer Care. And this is where you would add new custom fields. So clicking Add New Custom Field, just give it a name, and that will be added into your custom field list. If you have custom statuses, you can pick from any of your custom statuses and then edit them, or you can create a new status and add that into the list. And those will be available for everyone on your account to make use of. And since we are back here, I do want to point out that it hasn't changed, but under alerts we do have a specific section for customer care email alerts or SMS alerts if you would prefer to get those. You have two options, one for if there are updates on cases that are assigned to you, which is essentially new activity, someone replied to it, something changed on it, the things that might populate that history window that we were looking at earlier, and then on whether there's a new case assigned to you. So you can get a notification when something new has been assigned to you. Particularly helpful if you have experts or people on your team who aren't generally part of your social media management, but need to be included in cases, to have cases assigned to them and things along those lines. So they can get notified that they do need to come and log into the application to manage that. And again, the email that they get will include a link back to this specific case. So following it directly from the email that they receive will take them right into Engage, where they can engage and act on that case that's been assigned to them. So we're very excited about what's being added. You'll now be able to access the case list from the Home tab, from Explore, from Listen. You'll be able to access and manage that from many different ways, and filter and sort things in many new different ways. And we're obviously very excited about the new tools for managing email, both with incoming cases as well as the coordination across team members outside of Engage121, and bringing it all together so that history is thorough. But that will be launching early next week, most likely Monday or Tuesday. We do want to make sure that everyone had a chance to see it and preview it and understand what was coming so they could prepare for it and be ready to work with it. If you do plan to use the email alerts, or not the email alerts, I'm sorry, the email case creation, we will need to have the IMAP settings for your account. That is something that we're going to manage in the background instead of putting it into the application directly. So we will need to have those settings. So if you plan to use that and you don't already know the IMAP account information, I do suggest talking with your IT team, whoever manages your email accounts, so that you can get that information and be ready to go day one on managing that. Thank you all for joining us. As always, we appreciate hearing your feedback on the application and also these webinars. If you do have any questions about how these things affect your account in particular, or how to do any of the things that you've seen here or in past webinars, do suggest that you please contact our client services team either through support at Engage121, through our Twitter account at Engage121, or on Facebook. And I do also recommend that if you are not already, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on both the recordings of these webinars and the other videos and social media updates that Jenny and our marketing team put together and our client services team put together in support of the application. So I do recommend that you do all those things, and if you do have any feedback, we'd love to hear from you, so please let us know. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next week.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.